In our previous video tutorials, we learned how to use your personal ny.gov ID to access the new lobbying application, how to create your personal profile in the lobbying application, how to determine what role you will take in the lobbying application, and how a Chief Administrative Officer or Delegated Administrator can claim or create an organization profile. I am now going to briefly go over what to do if a Chief Administrative Officer, Delegated Administrator, or Authorized Preparer inadvertently claims an organization profile and show you how that is corrected. The new lobbying application will require care when users and organization profiles are initially set up in the system. But with any new system, mistakes can be made. Here are a few scenarios that show you how this may happen and how to fix each one. If a user listed themselves as the Chief Administrative Officer, but should really only be the Delegated Administrator, this user will need to go into the organization profile, select Edit, and remove their name from the Chief Administrative Officer field. Then add the correct person's name to that field and attest to the information. Again, if a user listed themselves as the Chief Administrative Officer, but should really only be the Delegated Administrator, this user will need to go into the organization profile and remove their name from the Chief Administrative Officer field. Then add the correct person's name to that field. If the user is incorrectly listed as the Delegated Administrator, with the correct Chief Administrative Officer's name present, the Chief Administrative Officer will need to remove the incorrect user's name under the Delegated Administrator field. Then either add themselves or another person and attest to the information. If the user listed themselves as both the Chief Administrative Officer and Delegated Administrator, the user will need to go in, remove their name as the Chief Administrative Officer, and add the correct person's name. Then the Chief Administrative Officer will need to go into the profile and remove the incorrect Delegated Administrator's name and list either themselves or someone else, and attest to that information. Again, please keep in mind that at least one Delegated Administrator is required, and the Chief Administrative Officer and Delegated Administrator can be the same person. The second Delegated Administrator field is optional. If they listed themselves as the CAO and DA and Delegated Administrator, but are supposed to be the Authorized Preparer, the user will need to remove themselves as the Chief Administrative Officer and add the correct person to the Chief Administrative Officer field. Then the correct Chief Administrative Officer will need to remove the preparer's name from the Delegated Administrator field and list either themselves or someone else. The Chief Administrative Officer or Delegated Administrator of the organization can then add the user as the Authorized Preparer. The preparer will need to give them their individual ID number to add them. This is found in the preparer's user profile. If none of these steps work, please contact the JCOPE Help Desk for further assistance at 800-87-ETHICS or send an email to helpdesk@jcope.ny.gov. Congratulations! You now know the steps you need to take if your organization profile is accidentally claimed by an unaffiliated party. Thank you for watching this first set of training videos on how to log into and set up profiles in the new lobbying application. We learned how to log in using your personal ny.gov account, how to create your personal user profile in the application, how to determine what role you will play, and how to create or access an organization profile. We also reviewed the steps that can be taken if the incorrect individual inadvertently claims an organization profile. It is important to know where to reach out for help. If you have any questions regarding your ny.gov account, you will need to reach out to ny.gov for assistance. JCOPE's Help Desk is unable to assist with issues related to ny.gov. Please go to the my.ny.gov website or contact their Customer Care Center at 1-800-697-1323. If you have questions regarding the lobbying application, including user profiles or organization profiles, please contact JCOPE's Help Desk at 800-87-ETHICS. When prompted, press 1 to speak to a lobbying filing specialist, or email the Help Desk at helpdesk@jcope.ny.gov.